What's up, everyone? Jamin here to give you my review of Star Wars The Last Jedi. I might as well do a video about it because everyone else is going to do one, and I want to be in the conversation. I want to have my opinions out there. Of course, since this is a Star Wars movie, all the details of this movie are going to be ripped apart, and everyone's going to focus on every single little thing and nitpick to death about everything. And that's fine. It's Star Wars. People are going to do that regardless. But I've seen a lot of people's reviews, and I want to give my opinions on the events that people critique and say that weren't that great or were great or whatever. Because I thought this movie was great. I loved this movie. I should say that I love this movie for everything that it stands for, I guess you could say. I'm not the biggest fan of the old Star Wars movies or the prequels. Star Wars The Force Awakens I thought was fun and enjoyable adventure movie. But as far as being super duper connected to the original Star Wars movies, I'm not. I didn't see them back in the day. I didn't even see them really as a kid. I saw them more when I was a teenager, or a little bit older than a teenager, maybe 18 or somewhere in there, after I was out of high school. I know this was the first time I actually watched them. I'd seen them parodied a shitload of times, more than I've seen the movies. I've seen more parodies about Star Wars than I have the actual original trilogy, because it's the stories, them so well. I watched them once. I understand the story. They're great movies. But as far as a huge connection, I don't really have that. So this movie sets up so many expectations. It's Star Wars, but it completely, I don't want to say completely, but it cancels out so many of your expectations. Not really, cancels out isn't the greatest word, but it subverts. I hate saying subverts because everyone uses that word and it's just a fancy word. But that's what it does. It subverts expectations. You don't know what to expect at all from this movie, and I love that about it. I love that it's not so straightforward. Bad guys lose, good guys win, blow up Death Star 8000. It's a different story. Shit happens that you don't expect to happen. Any character feels like they could die at any time. And I didn't mention that this is a spoiler review. Oh god. But I'm going to put it in the title, so whatever. But so that's what I love about it, and that's why I think it's probably my favorite Star Wars movie. I loved everything about it. That it's just like, it's basically, in a way, it's just like a fuck you to the super Star Wars fanboys that go crazy about mythology and all this other stuff. They just get so caught up in the Jedi lore and all that, and I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of that. And the real Star Wars fans can disagree, and they can, take this movie for what it is, or overlook the flaws, or just say, it's not my favorite Star Wars movie, and that's fine. But to those people that are so stuck up their own ass in their feelings for how Star Wars should be, I think this is a good direction to go away from those cookie cutter stories. I think cookie cutter is a harsh word to say. But hero's journey, just, the stories, how Star Wars, everything, it rhymes, George Lucas set up these kind of ideals that certain things will happen and everything's connected, and it's not. So going from that, I'm going to jump right into the main part of this, which is Rey's parents. In this movie, Kylo Ren actually says that Rey's parents are nobody. They sold her for money. They're garbage. They're drunks or something like that. They were just trash. They're trash human beings. So she's not special by any means, but she's special to him, he says, because they have this connection through the Force, which I really love that part. Everything about Rey and Kylo Ren's relationship is awesome. It's why I love the movie so much, and which is why I don't give a fuck that they killed off Snoke. This is not his story. This is not the Snoke story. People may want to see his origin or whatever. I don't give a two tit fucks about Snoke. He wasn't that cool in Force Awakens. I hardly even remember him being in the movie. I just remember him being projected or hologrammed or whatever. So if I don't care if he dies. It's not his story. It's Rey and it's Kylo Ren's story, and they should be the main part. So fuck him. He's dead now. Now we can focus on what everyone actually cares about, Rey and Kylo, right? And I have written down some other deals that I wanted to get to. Casino Planet. Okay, so to be fair, Casino Planet, I went to the bathroom. I went to use the restroom. When the scene started, I didn't know what it was going to be, but there was just a scene. I don't remember what even came before that, but I knew I was wanting to stay there, and they switched scenes. And usually when you switch scenes to a different set piece, the first minute of it is going to be some kind of setup, right? So I was like, okay, they're changed scenes. They're going to set something up, and then I'll go pee, and I'll come back, and I'll get to watch the middle part and the end and see what this actually affects, right? So I was gone for like 3 or 4 minutes during the casino scene. I think it was when they walked through it and they showed all the creatures and things like that were in there gambling, which I would have liked to see. It would have been cool to see all those cool little creatures or whatever. But then you get to see it again, but now they're coming through and they're just wrecking shit. They're destroying all the casino thing. And people are up. This is the worst part of the movie for most people, it seems like, because they say it's unnecessary. But it's unnecessary at the end of the movie when it's over with. I don't see why they weren't, like, I loved how it looked, and Finn, that's why they put Finn in this spot, because people care about Finn, right? That's why it worked for me, is because if you just put Rose and a new character, like if it was just 2 new characters doing this little adventure in this casino world or whatever, it really would have been bogged down. But because Finn is there and they actually have a point for it at the time, you don't know that this shit's not going to matter. When you watch it the first time, you're like, oh, they got to get to this codebreaker guy because he's got to get back to the ship and he's got to break the code and they got to, shut off the tracker and all that shit. So it's important in the moment, and you don't expect it to not matter. And then at the end, when it doesn't really matter and actually causes more harm than good, then that helps Poe's arc for, oh, he's a fuck up and he needs to change the way he does things. He's too trigger happy. He just wants to blow shit up. And he goes behind his captain, his new general or whatever, that hobo girl, Hondo? Don't know. Purple hair lady. And to me, it's not that bad. I had fun with them wrecking shit in the casino. Benicio del Toro's character, whatever his name was, Codebreaker, might as well be his fucking name. Then he was the worst part of that scene for me. I didn't really like him as a character. And he's an asshole, so it's justified. Who cares about that guy? But the actual scene itself, not that bad to me. It's fine. Next. I had one other thing that I wanted to push back on a little bit. No, that was it. I already talked about Poe. In his arc, he's, he comes back at the end. At the end, he realizes they should run away. Luke does a distraction, which I thought was awesome. He used all of the Force. I think he Jedi mind tricked everybody into seeing him. Like, a lot of people think that he projected his image somehow, but I think he got in their mind, Jedi mind tricked them to actually to see him, like to think he was actually there. Instead of projecting himself there, it was all in their head the whole time. Wouldn't that be pretty sick? But that'd have to be in like everybody's mind that was around them. And I mean, he's Luke Skywalker. He's supposed to be the most badass Jedi ever, right? He's basically the chosen one. After Darth Vader or Anakin. So he's a badass. He can do that. I don't care. It's awesome to see. It's something new, right? This is what I love, new stuff. I'm glad there's not a Death Star. I'm glad there's not any other thing. Casino Planet wasn't that big a deal to me. But and it's not really a complaint, but man, this movie feels long as shit. Like, the ending, I thought, whenever they're in the throne room and they have that badass fight scene, and Rey and Kylo are about to, they're like, join me. I lost my train of thought. New things. That's what I want to see in Star Wars. I want to see new, interesting things. Um, I really root for Kylo Ren and Rey. I really, I'm really invested in both of their characters. And honestly, I when they were had their little when they had their team up moment, I was like, fuck yes, this is awesome. And then they kind of they teamed up for that one goal, but then they also still have their own ideals, and that kind of conflicts back and forth. Kylo doesn't really have anyone to care for besides, I guess he cares for Rey a little bit, maybe his mother a little bit, and um, and that's really it. But he's trying to push those feelings aside, and he wants to rule and make a new world, but his heart's not in the right place for that. And Rey has those friends though. She has Finn, she has Leia that she really cares about, um, Chewie, and even Luke. Um, so that's a good part of it that really shows like, well, that's why she doesn't join him. And for after that freaking Jedi fight and them wrecking shit, I wanted them to join up. Just like, oh, this would be awesome. Just join forces, start new, and just, you guys do your thing in the universe. No more Jedi, no more anything, and we'll have something different. But then at that point, if that happened, that wouldn't be Star Wars anymore, and people would be even more upset. And plus, all of her friends were getting destroyed in their freaking pods. But be honest, how many of those people did she actually know besides Finn and Leia? She just met Poe. Does she know anybody else in the Resistance? I don't know. I don't think she does, but she cares enough about people and the Resistance cause that she would want to fight for them. So, whatever. But all in all, I really love this movie from start to finish. So much goes against expectation. You feel like any character could die at any time. Finn, I felt like was gonna die, and I was accepting it. I was like, oh, this is gonna be so sad. Finn's gonna die. Nope, doesn't die. So another expectation that comes out of nowhere. So it completely just everything you expect. No. So, and I really, really love that. I really, really love that. I love feeling like anything could happen. You don't know what's gonna happen. That's the greatest thing. It's the greatest thing in my opinion, for like movies and shows. It's unexpected. I would rank this. I think this is my favorite Star Wars movie. Like I said earlier, I'm not the greatest fan of the original three. They're fine. They're great movies, but to me, as far as fun, excitement, well, technically and well made, this movie is great. It's well made. Everything works for me, and everything is different for everybody. But for me, I really love this movie. Is it have its flaws, of course, but to me, the flaws I can look past, or weren't even flaws for me. It's just like, oh, I see what they're going for there, right? But the original three are there. They're up there at the top. They're not. It's not like I like the prequels more than them or anything like that. It's like probably Last Jedi. Then people say Empire, but I really like the first one a little bit more than Empire. So it'd probably be A New Hope, then Empire, then maybe Revenge of the Sith, because I just actually like that one. I've watched it a bunch of times, and it holds a place in my heart because I was growing up, and I saw it when I was young, and yeah. But not. I know it's not better or better made, or the story's not as well made as, let's say, Return of the Jedi, which people would have probably as their third favorite. But to me, I like Revenge of the Sith more. Get off my nuts. So then Jedi, Return of the Jedi, and then prequels. And Rogue One. I don't even know where to put Rogue One, honestly. So, but I'm not even gonna. This isn't what that video is about. But anyways, there's my, I guess, review and spoiler talk or pushback for fans. And I can understand and sympathize if you're upset because you did put all this work into your fan theories and raise parents and all that. But I don't care. I don't really care. Wasted your time. If that's what makes you mad, and that's why you don't like this movie, then you need to rethink your life, bro. All right, that's it for me, guys. Like this video, please, or don't. Leave a comment, or don't. Tell me my opinion is wrong, and I'm a shit-face ass cunt fuck boy, and that's it. Have a good day, everyone.